Let's dive into Lana's training so we can stay consistent at home. Whenever she's doing behaviors that we want to keep seeing, whether that's being calm or following our commands, we want to make sure we reinforce and reward those behaviors with either praise, petting, or treats. And then whenever she's doing things that we don't want to see, whether that's jumping up, she's getting a little too excited, or she's not following our commands, we're going to follow through with the training equipment so we can decrease those unwanted behaviors. So let's go over Lana's training equipment. This is her prong collar. She's going to wear this whenever she is on a leash. How we take this on and off is we're just going to secure one of the links and push through like so. To put it back together, we are going to pinch this prong and put it through the holes of the other prong. And then whenever she wears this, the leash is going to attach to this D-ring that swivels. And then how we use it, say she is in the heel command. Heel is that nice loose leash walking on the left side. Say she starts to pull ahead or does something that we don't want to see. We're going to say no to mark the incorrect behavior, follow through with a pop of the leash, and then remind her heel. So no, pop, heel. And then of course, when she gets back where we want her, we can give her that praise, petting, and treats to reinforce and reward her where we want her to be. Now with the remote collar, how we turn this on and off is we're going to press these two red dots together. This green light flashing means that the collar itself is on charge and ready to go. On the back of the remote on and off button, we're going to push and hold until we see the screen light up. These turn on separately so that way she can't accidentally turn off the collar whenever she is wearing it. And then today we're going to focus on the black S button. S just stands for stimulation, so it's kind of like an electric muscle stimulator. Then you're going to see level 20 on the screen. This is Lana's working level as of right now. This may change depending on where she's at in her training, but right now 20 has been working great. So how we use this, say she's in that heel again. If she starts to pull ahead or does something that we don't want to see, we're going to say no to mark the incorrect behavior. Follow through with the black S button, heel, no, button, heel. Then of course, when she gets back, praise, petting, and treats to reinforce her where we want her to be. Now with these, it depends on the level of distraction that we have. We may use one of these, we may use both of these. Just depends on the situation that we are in with Lana. The more we focus on using the remote collar, the more we can get into that off-leash training. But we want to make sure that she understands what the remote means when we're using it. So in the beginning, it might be a lot of using both until she understands what the boundaries are and what we're asking of her. With the remote collar, it's going to be the first thing that we put on in the morning and then the last thing that we take off at night. So that way we always have this form of communication with Lana throughout the day. With the prong collar, she will have it on whenever she's on a leash. So in the beginning, she may have the leash and prong on in the house to introduce new boundaries and rules. And then you can slowly fade away from where you don't need the leash on in the house. And then this will just be for whenever you take her out on walks or whenever she's on the leash. Now that we've gone over her equipment, let's go over her commands. That heel is the loose leash walking. About 80 to 90% of a walk should be in the heel command. The other 10 to 20%, we can give her release word free. Free means she's not in any set command. That's going to be our time to follow her rather than her following us. That's going to be her time to go do her business. Now we have sit. Sit means stay as implied until she's given the release word free. This is really good for those door manners or whenever we're just stopping at a stop sign. So that way, Lana sits and stays rather than tangling around or bolting through the door. So whether we're inside or outside of a door, we're going to have Lana sit. Sit means stay as implied. So whenever we open the door, if Lana gets up, we're going to use the equipment, get her back into the sit, and then try it again. And then we're going to get it until she does it right. So that way she understands that we have the same rules for her at home that we do here. Then we have two options. We can either free her through the door on her own, or we can heel through the door with her. It just depends on the situation that you are in. And then if she sits and stays, we can also reward her and let her know, hey, sitting and staying at doors, that is wonderful. We want to keep seeing it. Now we have down. Down means stays implied as well. When working with the down, we're never going to walk 10 feet away from Lana and then call her to us, because then she's going to get rewarded for coming to us and not staying in that down stay. So whenever we're practicing any of the stay commands, we never want to walk away and then call her to us. So when practicing the down, you can put her in a down, do whatever distraction is going on, and then you're going to go back to Lana where she is and reward her low to the ground so she knows where that positive zone is when she's in the down, and then release her from where she's at. Say when you're working with the down, she does get up and she comes to you. All we're going to do is say no, follow through with the training equipment, go back to wherever approximately she was, get her back in the down, and then whatever made her get up, whatever distraction that was, we're going to do it again and then reward her for staying so she understands that even though that big distraction's happening, I still have to stay in my down. Now we have place. Place is a boundary stay, ideally on an elevated bed. Same with this one, stay is implied. So if she ever gets up, We got to make sure we get her back to where she is unless we have said free, because we want to make sure she understands that it means stay till we tell her it's time to get up. With place, when you have major distractions coming over or just in the beginning, definitely have the leash and prong on, so that way if she does get up, we can guide her back to the place bed and not have to chase her around because we don't have anything to guide her with. Then whenever we're having big distractions over, absolutely having the leash and prong on, because people will excite her and we want to make sure we're communicating with her efficiently whenever it comes to these bigger distractions. So whenever we're practicing this one, say we have people come over, Lana is on place. If she stays great, we can go reward her by putting treats on the bed so she knows where that positive zone is. Then once she's nice and calm, we can tell her free and let her meet the guests once she's nice and calm. But just like with the down, say she does get up and she decides to greet our guests before we allow her to, what we're going to do is just pick up the leash, tell her no, follow through with the equipment, and then we're going to guide her back to the place bed and do it again. If you can have the people come back in, do whatever it was, so that way she can start to understand that these bigger distractions exist, but we still have to stay in our commands. Now we have come when called. When practicing this one, ideally we have her on a 30 to 50 foot leash, so that way if she gets extra distracted and doesn't respond, we have a way to communicate with her and reel her back in like a fish if we need to. So when practicing this one, give her her release word free, let her go get distracted, because she's probably going to be distracted doing her own thing when we need her to come back to us, not in a sit stay waiting for us to call her. So we're going to make it as realistic as possible. Let her go get distracted, sniffing something, create distance away from her. When you call her to us, you're going to say come in a nice, loud, firm tone, praise her as she's coming to you, back up to invite her into your space, and then when she gets into our space, we have her sit, and then we give her the reward. This is so that she doesn't come into our space, get a reward, and then run back off to whatever she was doing. Sit means stay is implied, so then we have to tell her free, it's time to get up. Say whenever we're practicing, she gets extra distracted by looking at something or something's going on. All we're going to do is if we say come, we give her a couple seconds to think about it. If she doesn't respond, no, follow through with either the black S button or a pop of the leash, and then we call her again, and then we're still going to go into that praising and then reward her when she gets into our space, because just because she made a mistake out there doesn't mean we're not going to be the positive zone. She's always going to get a reward from us whenever we're doing recall, so that way she knows there's always a treat waiting for me whenever I come into their space. Now we have leave it. Leave it just means don't grab that. When practicing this one, start out with dog safe food, so that way if she does pick it up, not too big of a deal. But when practicing this, toss it on the ground, say leave it. If she does, great. If not, follow through with the equipment and then guide her into a different scenario and do it again. Start out with the leash and prong on, so that way we can guide her into a different scenario if we need to, and slowly work from there. And then as you can see in the video, I tell her free and I let her go pick the food up off the ground. If you don't want her to pick anything up off the ground and you want to make it kind of set in stone, you never have to allow her to pick things up off the ground. Rather, you can always pick it up and give it to her. It's completely up to what you want for Lana and your standards for her. So that is all of Lana's commands and equipment. So whenever we're working with her, we're rewarding and reinforcing the things that we want to keep seeing. And then with the things that we don't want to see, we're going to follow through the training equipment so we can discourage those behaviors. But we're going to have fun, stay consistent. Now we're going to watch Lana do her commands. Heel. Good girl. her free. Good. Lana, come. That's a good girl. Say, oh, you're so fast today. So fast. Free. So fast. You want to see again? Free. Ooh. Oh, goodness. Free. Goodness. Lana, come. Sit. You are zoomy today. We like it. Free. You got the zooms. Free. You're too smart. Lana, free. Go sit here. Go get her. Come. That's a good girl. Sit. Oh my God. Girl, Lana, sit. Good job. Oh my gosh. Look at that little butt. No, it was bouncy. Down. Good girl. Down. Good girl. Down. Down. Good. Down, Lana. Down. Good girl. Down. Free. Good girl, Lana. Sit. Girl. Sit. Free. Good girl. Lana. Oh, get up. Free. Leave it. Good girl. Yes. Good girl. Free. Oh, yeah. Go get it. Oh, yeah. Free. Good girl. Leave it. Good girl. Free. Let's get him. Free. Go get him. Go. Yeah. Okay. Oh, it's on your foot. There you go. Lana. There you go. Good job. Free. Free. Good job. Oh. Let's go over the other features of the remote. We've already gone over how to turn it on. Now let's go over how to turn it off. Same concept as turning it on. These red dots, both on the collar and the remote, touch them together. That red light means the collar is off. On and off button on the back of the remote. We're going to push and hold until the screen goes blank. Now I'm going to go ahead and turn it back on, and we're going to go over the other buttons on the remote. So we've already gone over this black S button. That's going to be whatever number you see on the screen. So level 20 has been working for her. So that's what this black S button is going to stand for. Say whenever you're working with Lana, you notice that she's either having too much of a reaction to level 20 or she's not responding to it at all. What we can do is hold down on this dial until that 1D at the top of the screen starts to flash. And then what we can do is rotate the dial to whatever number we think is going to work for Lana. But right now, level 20 has been working great. So what I'm going to do is get it back to level 20, and I'm going to hold down on the dial again to lock it into place so that way when we put it in our pocket, we can't accidentally change it. Now underneath the red S button or the black S button is the red S button. This is a boost feature. So right now her level is on 20. If I hit the red S button, it is going to jump it to level 40. This is a boost feature to communicate with her whenever she's doing something dangerous and she's not responding to the black S button. Whether she's chasing a car, chasing an animal, and she's not responding to us, we have a quick way to communicate with her in that high adrenaline state of mind, because level 20 reaches about here when nothing's going on. When she's doing something dangerous and she's having fun, she is up here. So we have a quick way to communicate with her in those emergency situations. So the red S button is going to be for emergency cases when she's doing something dangerous. Now on the other side, we have a T button. This is a vibrate feature. We like to use this to make sure the collar is on and ready to go. But when you get further into Lana's training and she doesn't really need the stimulation and she just needs a little bit of a reminder, you can absolutely use the vibrate feature as a reminder. Now on the back of the remote, we have the on and off button. This is also a flashlight feature. So what we can do, rather than pushing and hold, if we press it once, it's going to be a flashing light. That second time, solid flashlight. Third time, turns it off. Then we also have an M/C button on the back of the remote. This stands for momentary or continuous. At the beginning of Lana's training, we started out at continuous at a very low level to introduce the remote in a very positive way. And then we switch over to momentary whenever she gets further into her training at a little bit of a higher level. So she should stay on momentary the rest of her training, so you should never have to mess with that button. Underneath the on and off button, we do have the charging port. They both are rechargeable and they stay charged for about 2 days if she wears them for about 12 to 14-hour days. So this will also start flashing whenever it starts to drain the battery. It'll go from orange to red to let you know that it's starting to die and needs to be charged. Now in the box, we also have the dual charger, so you can charge them both at the same time. And then we have extra prongs. So with these ones are shorter. I have switched Lana over to the longer ones because her hair was so long that it was hard to clip it without getting her hair stuck in there. And then the prongs weren't making good contact. So I switched over to the longer one so that way it can make it through all of her hair and still make contact with her skin without being too tight around her neck. But once she gets shaved down and you notice that you don't need the longer prongs, it does come with a tool to switch it over to the short ones if you notice that her short hair, she doesn't need the long prongs. Then underneath the box, we have the manual. If you want to go over this just to see all of the features of the remote, there is a tone feature instead of a vibrate feature. If that's something that you want to do with Lana, you are absolutely more than welcome to. There is a 2-year warranty with this. If you get in contact with the company, if something goes wrong with your remote or collar, they should be able to get you something new or send something over to replace it. Then they're both waterproof, so if they get wet, not too big of a deal. But if Lana's going to stay wet for an extended period of time, especially with her hair, it stays wet and it kind of stays there. You might want to rotate her collar so that way it's not rubbing up against and creating a rash if she's going to stay wet for an extended period of time. It's okay to rotate her collar around so we're not creating rashes. That is all of the other features of the remote. So just like in the beginning, we're going to have fun, stay consistent, and that's everything.